Boom, live. All right, Gary should be here shortly. So we got Sparky TGM around. Oh, let's see. Usually we have Gary and James Condon on. James, I know, is working. I don't know what his plans are. He usually is on the train. Maybe this time, maybe a little later. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, small engine generator questions, all that stuff. Anyone have anything? I'll throw the link out there in case anyone wants to come up. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. That should be the link. 5 in the house. Like I said, we'll see what's going on. At this point, Gary, I know, is warming things up. He's got some tube amps warming or something. Catch a cow. How you doing? Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, it's been crazy at work, crazy everywhere, Sparky. This time of year, it's pouring like crazy here in Connecticut. I mean, it's been raining for about 18 hours. It's supposed to rain until tomorrow. We're getting like 8 inches of rain. It's just everything's flooding out. A lot of rain, just a lot of rain. Bill Clement, how you doing? So, just a lot of rain here. Wet, everything's wet the whole day. It's been a total washout. Nothing to really get done except housework stuff inside the house today because of all the weather. But with this weather, power failures, everything else, people are going to need generators and things like that. I've been fairly busy. I mean, a lot of people are calling up looking to get stuff fixed and stuff going. And but right now, I got a couple of engines I'm working on. I got that stuck Cub Cadet 149 engine. I've got the rebuild on the K321. There's Gary. Hold on a second. Boom. What's going on?
Hey. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. How's the rain up your way?
It's pouring.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad up there.
All day. I know. It's crazy. I didn't get much done. I mean, I did a few errands and stuff, but other than that, it's a total washout.
Yeah. I'm working on our Canadian glider. It's just a 2-seater that, sits on our covered front porch, but it needed some work done, some rotted wood replaced. Just haven't gotten back to it all yet because I still have to cut some of the pieces. I have 2 riding mowers that have been sitting for almost a week because I'm still waiting for parts. And lo and behold, they came in today. And I'm like, great. Well, I guess that's what I'm going to be doing for my Saturday.
Well, Saturday is supposed to rain until what, noontime, I think?
Noontime. Yeah, until in the afternoon.
So we'll see who Robert's here. Hello, Robert. Mark. Let's see. Let's see if we can throw up some.
Hey, everyone.
We got Sparky, who we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Bill, Robert. Mark is here. Mark's always on. Mark's always the one that's on, like, no matter what time of day or night. He's in the UK, but he's always around. So
yeah, I've been talking with someone over in the UK about one of my valve amplifiers, and I don't get how you UK guys can stay up so late. I mean, I'm a night owl myself, but I just can't stay up to like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not made for that anymore.
Well, this weekend they're doing that Sound on the Sound at Seaside Park. In fact, it's right in back of the Bridgeport plant where I work. And literally, if you're in my parking lot in Bridgeport, you can see the stage. It says Sound on the Sound. So a lot of, John Mayer, a bunch of people are supposed to show up or whatever. But look at this weather. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's not this kind of weather is what dampens. I mean, there's crazy people that will go and go to these things, but I'm not. Yep. If it's raining out like that, I'd rather stay home with my dogs.
Yeah, I wouldn't if it was drizzling or something, but it's raining.
Yeah, it's steady raining the entire time. They call for like 5 to 6 inches of rain in the Bridgeport area.
I believe it. They're saying up where we are, right here, 6 to 8 even.
Yeah.
I was just surprised things weren't as flooded as I thought they'd be.
Well, I'm more worried about now is like we've gotten so much rain, the water's saturated or saturating the ground really. And if we get like a windstorm, it doesn't take much to knock down trees. Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least you'll have a lot of generators need fixing, I'm sure.
Yeah, I got a couple coming in. I actually got a big Duramax 13,000 watt coming in a couple weeks. And the guy left the gasoline in it, but it's still one of those dual fuels. And James actually stopped at the house the other night. He picked up that LP 5500 that I couldn't do anything with. So he's going to Frankenstein it.
Yeah. Now, was it the first time he had been to your place?
No, he's been here a couple times before. It's about it, he came. It gets late now. It gets it gets dark now at around
Yeah.
6:30.
Because he's about the same distance from you as I am, right? Basically.
I'm the middle point between you and I, but for him.
Yep. Cool.
So
Mr. Clem is around. Hey, John.
Yeah, so I got a message from somebody that asked about the generator recall. So it's specifically for the GP 15,000 and for the 17.5K. And all it basically is that the rollover, the vent on the top of the gas tank, it has a tendency to get clogged and get stuck closed. It's supposed to vent back into the air box where it will, draw in the fumes and burn the fumes. Well, sometimes that can because it doesn't vent from the gas cap. It vents from that.
So it'll shut off fuel flow. Yeah.
No, it'll pressurize the tank because
meaning it'll cause a plug where it won't run, right? Because it's not venting.
No, because if it's not, it actually because the fuel is vaporous, it's got a high volatility to want to go and vaporize it. If it doesn't have anywhere to go, the engine's still going to draw on the fuel because it's positive pressure inside.
Oh, until it runs. Oh, okay.
Then what happens is that if you can't draw it fast enough, so then it's going to cause when you either open up the cap or if the something lets go, it pressurizes the tank over too much to where you could have an explosion or a fire hazard. It's not a very expensive part. It's like $10 or $12, but I kind of find it funny how, and I was talking to James about this the other day. It's kind of the opposite more times than not that happens, where those things leak more times than they actually get stuck or clogged up. We've had to replace quite a few of them in our travels with generators, but I mean it's only affecting those models for some reason. Go figure. What's everyone doing?
A few people here.
We've been family wedding and power cuts. Oh, okay. Fun things to do with Sparky.
I know Randy hit his 1,000 the other day, so that's good for Randy. Hopefully he can monetize.
Yeah, I just hit 6,000 myself, so thank you to everybody.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm 4,400, something like that. I just got to put out more content. It's just, getting content lately has been tough.
It's tough, because we both have day jobs. We're constantly having to split our time between the two. And it's that time of year, like everyone's making the final push of the third quarter before the holiday rush, for example, that gets really busy right around October. By the time October, 10th rolls around, they're already preparing for Thanksgiving in the stores, right? And then not even before it's even November, they start promoting for Christmas. It's crazy.
Oh, right now there's Christmas stuff in the store. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yep. Yeah, today at work, the last of the 2023 retirees left today. Today was the last day, so it's going to be a lot less people come Monday morning. So.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, it creates with all these retirees, especially in the trades. I find that it creates a vacuum. There's not enough people to do that specialized training, and if they do it, they want $1 million to do it.
Yeah. Well, our problem now is just getting parts. We have people, that's for sure, but just getting specialized and unique parts from different suppliers is terrible. We had that big, Spirit Aero went on strike a month or two ago, and that screwed us up on a bunch of things. So it's Yep. Let's see. Oh, what do we got here, Mr. I'm wondering if I've seen any Mr. Prime's videos. I don't know if he's been in the chat a few times, but I don't know if I've seen any of his videos.
I'll have to look him up here.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll look him up while we're doing that right here.
But I was watching the other day, what's it called? Our favorite bassist from Yes. He did something on YouTube, or either that or there was a tribute to him. Chris, what's his name?
Chris Squire?
From Yes. Chris Squire, yeah. They were doing something with him or about him on YouTube last week. I saw there was a bunch of stuff about Chris Squire. Huh. So as soon as I see him, I see him and Rickenbach and
yeah, that's so So I did release a video recently, just messing around with that Rickenbacker. I really love that thing, but it's different to play, right? And there's another guy on Instagram more so than YouTube, but he's partnered with Scott Devon over or Scott's Bass Lessons, and it's his name.
Oh, you're locked up. Is it your end or my end? Oh, Gary, you're locked up on my end, or is it me? How about now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I don't know what just happened.
It was weird. Yeah, you froze on my screen for about 10 seconds. Yeah.
I must have hiccuped.
Interesting. Yeah, I figured hopefully we didn't lose power.
No. I mean, I got battery backups all around, so I wouldn't probably. They did have a. I did have a problem with my internet, so they're putting in fiber around in my area, and they have the call before you dig guys coming into our neighborhood. They're destroying all of our yards because they're actually digging a trench. Well, the last group that came in here, it was for I think it was for Xfinity, and now it's
Yeah, 'cause you have all underground. Right?
underground. Well, what they did, the first crew a couple months back, the other company came in and they used a tunnel boring machine, big machine.
Oh yeah, well, they just fish it through. Yeah,
fish it through, right?
Yeah,
And it was very unintrusive, didn't destroy the grass, and everyone was super happy. And they ran it to all the different boxes that are in the neighborhood. Well, that was great, but fiber's not. They haven't connected it to the main street yet. Then in comes in these guys, and the language barrier, you can't really talk to them. But they come in with the big a trenching bucket and excavator, and they rip up the road. They rip up everyone's yard coming into the main road, and then now they're going all the way around. And it's just but what they're doing is they put the hay and the grass down, but it's the perennial stuff, I think, or it only comes up for the season. It won't in spring, so they're using the cheap stuff, but it grows up quickly, so it looks good in about a week or two after. But by the time the spring rolls around next year, it's going to be all dirt. So I got to put some of that annual grass, spend some money and do that. So, but yeah, they messed up the cable coming into my house, so it was wiggling and everything. And the 811 guy was like, "Yeah, they messed it up." I said, "Okay, well, let me call them up," and they came out and they fixed it for me. But for the longest time, I had flaky internet. Hopefully, not now.
Oh, what's John saying? Chinese guys?
I'm live now. I can't really. I don't want to. the Gary outside of the office still needs to stay off. If you want to join after, I'll tell you what happened. But but as I was saying before, so yes, I asked Ian about the sound from Chris Squire's bass in Changes. I know that's one of your favorite songs. And he actually plays a unique 8-string Rickenbacker. So it's 4 bass strings and then 4 guitar strings laid on top of each other. But he tunes them differently. And it's like, okay, one's tuned the root note and then the other one's tuned a 5th higher. So it's got that weird twangy, droney type of sound. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how you could be off key or whatever, make it sound like a sound they had 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So it's also a very expensive piece of music gear too.
Sure.
So what's going on in the small engine world? Anything? I have, like I said, I have those two lawnmowers. I had that 0 turn with that Bluetooth problem that I got sorted through, but now I just got a John Deere with a bad input fan on the input shaft fan. It stripped it out. It didn't strip out the input pulley. It actually stripped out the fan, and it destroyed the fins against one of the linkages.
Well, hydro
on an X324.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, mine. Oh, though you mean the one that's on top of the transaxle? That fan? Yeah.
That one, yeah. Couldn't figure out the noise. I figured it was just like one of the idler pulleys, but every time it would be intermittent, so I couldn't hear it. But then if you get the RPMs just right, because it was just freewheeling on the shaft, there wasn't locked with the teeth, and you get the RPMs just right, and then you hit the swash plate, and it's like, I'm like, the hell's that sound? But
Yeah, I got a couple of engines I'm working on, and everyone's calling saying they want to get their baggers on and their stuff ready for leaf season because leaves are starting to come down.
I'm gonna come down. Yep, and I just
Especially after this rain, all the leaves are going to be so heavy in the wind, and usually this rain ends with massive wind, and I'm sure the gutters are going to be full, the yards are going to be full. So
yeah, so that's gonna be tough.
yeah,
I was just watching Ryan Hall, y'all. Check out that channel. He's down in Arkansas, but he's usually really good as far as weather is concerned up here in this, at least.
oh yeah, someone mentioned him to me one time. Yeah, he's like the weather guy or
He's
something.
like the weather guy. So he just released a video, maybe not even an hour ago, and you're gonna right now that he's saying that estimation on average, we're expecting the first measurable snowfall between November 16th and December 1st. So in and
Here?
around there, yeah, here, which
Oh, I don't mind. I like this stuff.
it'd be interesting. Well, because we're in an El Nino, but yeah. But yeah, I'm getting calls now. I'm working on a lot of riders. I just got my first snowblower appointment for the middle of November because I'm that far out with all the riding mowers, and it's never anything simple.
Yeah.
It's not just the tune-ups; it's belts, bearings, pulleys. Obviously, if it's a fan or something like that, or something's going on with the transaxle, or having to take apart the carburetors, or I had a call the other day to rebuild a Kohler Command because I guess the guy let it sit for so long and there was water inside the cylinder. I said, okay, well, I mean, I could do it, but I'm out this far and it's a pretty laborious job plus the cost of parts. It's he's going to try to mess with it, but I don't know if he's going to be successful or not. He's got the same John Deere as me.
Yeah, hopefully we get some decent snow this year. That'll be fun.
Well, maybe where you live, but not me. I'm in Litchfield counties. I'm in the hills here. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of snow compared to you. But
yeah. Literally, I'm one street away from all the main roads. So
that's it. I mean, I'm off the main. I'm like one street off the main road too. But the main road has got a 9% grade. So if I have to go anywhere, I need an all-wheel drive with like spikes in the tires. And at that point, I'd rather just stay home. It's too dangerous.
Yeah. I know now we have all either 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicles, and it's like we never go anywhere. So,
well, I mean that's just my wife has the 2 cars that are all-wheel drive. I have a 2-wheel drive Honda. I mean, I have 4 snow tires, and it actually makes it help get through the snow decently. You're not completely stuck, but anything more than like 5 or 6 inches of snow, you're going to be in trouble. It's not a car for the snow, but it's funny because I was talking with my supervisor at work because they're based up in upstate New York, and I work remotely here. And at some point, I'm going to go and visit them again. But at this point, it's like I'm not going to go during the winter. There's no point. But it's a
although the roads are usually perfect up there.
They usually are, but and it's not as even the back roads get them. But like the lake effect snow can be pretty bad up there. So I don't know.
I used to go to Syracuse. I used to go to Syracuse every week for about maybe 3 months with my last job. And it was always during the winter when I went. So, I always rented something that was decent. But once you hit the New York State Thruway, perfect. The road is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. You get, as long as they can keep it clean, keep it cleared. Unfortunately, around here, it just winds up, those secondary roads wind up getting pretty bad.
Well, what I would do is it would be a harrowing drive up Route 8 because once you hit Winsted, it's all ice. And then you hit the Mass Pike for like one exit. Then you're on the New York State Thruway and you just go all the way west for an hour and a half. Or actually, for 3.5 hours. It was a 5-hour drive from my house to the plant. It was a you guys have heard of New Process Gear, New Venture Gear. They do transfer cases and trannies and things like that. We had a bunch of machines at their main plant, and when they had issues with the machines, they would send me up there. And I tell you, it was a nice ride. It was literally 5 hours door to door. I'd leave at 5 in the morning. I'd get up there at 10. I'd work till 3, and I'd be home at 8. And I did that like once a week for like 3 months. But it was just nice. It was a nice ride. It was around Christmas time. So, you put on Christmas music in the car and you just da-da-da-da-da. So,
fun stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
But so I got that. It is a Duramax XP 13000 HX coming in a few weeks.
Wait, what's Clem? Whoa! What's Clem saying? What is this? So busy, man.
What?
Holy cow! Oh, you gotta send me the link, John, so I'll give it to my wife.
All right, I didn't hear that.
So what is this XP 13,000? What size?
So it is. It's a 13th XP 13,000 HX. So it's their 13,000 watt dual fuel with a carbon monoxide sensor on it. And basically,
Oh,
the guy left fuel in it, and now it's clogged up, and I gotta clean it out. But he hasn't used it for propane yet, and I'm like, okay. Um, he's gonna bring it over and everything. He's got himself a trailer and whatnot. He's in a
now
couple.
you got to drain out the gas.
Well, I asked him to, and I
Yeah.
told him if I have to drain it out, if it's still usable, I can, I can use it for other
Mm.
things, or if you want me to go and take it out, then and save it, then I'm going to need to purchase some fuel cans to do it. He's got like 5 or 6 gallons in there. I
I was
forget.
gonna say the last time I did that to one that had like 5 gallons in it, I used my Mr. Funnel, got the water out of it, but there was still kind of crappy stuff in there. But I filtered it with coffee filters, and
Yeah.
then I used an electric fuel pump through like an oil filter,
Huh.
and then I used a water filter, and then I put it in my truck, and it was fine. But hey, nowadays gas is it's $4 here now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's over $4 here too. I mean, even propane has got its it's getting up there too. I got to actually go take my other 100-pound tank so we can have our propane fireplace ready. And I have two 100-pound tanks, so I just swap them out. One's
Yeah.
backup, for the generator, obviously, and then the other one's for the fireplace if we need it. But I just haven't lost power in that long of a time. But yeah, he said it's pretty full. It's like 246 pounds when it's full,
Mm.
but according to this, the fuel is engine speed, idle fuel. It doesn't even tell you how many. It doesn't even tell you how many gallons it's supposed to hold, but it's got to be at least it's got to be at least a 6 or 7 gallon tank. It's pretty big,
Sure.
but you know it's one of those things I see all the time with generators. I said there's so many dual fuel and even tri fuel too, depending on where you are, that people are so used to using gasoline because it's convenient, even though it's
Mm.
expensive. But
Mhm.
they would rather use that than use a propane fuel to use the propane fuel in order to not have to deal with all this gumming up of the carburetor and whatnot.
But let me ask you though, we had said this before in the other streams though, when you
Yep.
have gaseous, propane,
Yep.
you got a 20-pound tank.
Yep.
How much is literally usable when it's 20 degrees out or 30 degrees out?
It goes by BTU. Like Hewitt US Carb has actually made a couple videos on this, but basically a 20-pound tank is just a little less than 5 gallons of gasoline. So you basically you need to burn more of it in order to equal the same output on
Okay.
gasoline.
Yep.
But if say it's a 5,500 watt generator, you get uh, let's say it's 50% load, you'll probably be good. Actually, I'm trying to find the site now. Uh,
But with the cold though, I thought it's
yes,
harder to convert it to gas when it's cold.
correct. So your vape there's liquid propane on the bottom, so it's like a 60-40 split,
Yeah.
and it needs heat to expand into a gas in order for the engine to run it. The problem is that a 20-pound tank only has so much surface area, so it uses the ambient heat in the atmosphere to heat it up to boil that liquid propane inside at like -40 degrees Fahrenheit
Mm.
and bring it to a gaseous state. But then as the tank gets colder, your primary pressure at the tank goes down. So when your regulators are trying to keep it at, I don't know, 11 inches of water column, half a psi, and to be able to run the generator, you start to lose BTUs per hour because
Mhm.
it can't, it's not vaporizing quick enough.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the issue of propane in general. When it's in the winter,
Mm.
you can't really use the small propane tanks like that. You'd be better off with a larger, say, 100-pound propane tank that's like 23.7 gallons of propane, bigger tank, more surface area. You can draw more on it, and it'll vaporize a little bit quicker.
Is
Or
it better though, Gear, to have a 100-gallon vertical or horizontal?
it depends. I mean, I'm talking about a 100-pound DOT tank, so it's basically a very tall grill tank. I have
Yeah,
two of
yeah.
those. There are ASME tanks, which is the horizontal, which is probably what you're
Yeah.
thinking of.
Because my mom has one for her fireplace insert, which is like 6 feet long and maybe 2.5, 3 feet in diameter.
Yeah, and those are the ones to have, but they're far more expensive, but
Hmm.
they are not as they're not as stringent on the inspection. So the DOT type of tank, so your typical barbecue tank, they have a 20 pound, 30, 40, and then the 100 pounds it'll jump to or they even have the 60 pound one, but it's not really that common, at least from what I've seen. Those are, if you buy them brand new, they're, at least here in the United States, they're good for 12 years. So without needing to be inspected or anything like that. After it hits 12 years, then you have to have it either visually inspected. And then what they usually do is they'll usually charge like $10 or $15 US to, because I'm saying US because that's how it is here. It might be different somewhere else in another country. But all they do is they just make sure that it's not rotting away on the bottom, which is really where the weak point is, because it's sometimes in dirt. And then you have they just spray around the valve. They may replace the valve depending on the condition, and they'll spray around the valve to make sure it's not leaking. And then they'll slap another 5-year visual inspection ticket on it, so then so you can keep on filling it up basically. And that's what I did with that second tank. Uh, yeah, no,
What's Steve asking here?
yes, that is true. So it depends. It could be 800 psi at X amount of Fahrenheit degrees. The pressure goes down as the temperature goes down, because you're not. It's taking more energy to boil it off.
Is that like an industry minimum or something?
That's basically how they've adjusted the valve. So yeah, he is right, about 800 psi roughly coming out of that nozzle, and then the primary regulator will bring it down to about 14 inches of water column, and then your larger demand regulator, which on a lot of these Duramax generators and any of the tri-fuels from US Carb, will regulate it down. Basically, you're getting a greater volume of gas, not at a much lower pressure, and that's what you need.
What were you saying? About 11 inches, about a half a psi?
Yeah, half a psi. That's the standard. A lot
Yeah.
of times, depending on where you are, they might have it at 14 inches of water column. Could be a little bit higher, because if you're running more appliances, you need a bigger meter, bigger flow, bigger pipes and whatnot to get the higher volume in order for it to run. I know that guys running with natural gas tend to need larger pipes if you're running the generator from a pretty far distance from the meter, for example. So they usually get they can start the engine, they can run the motor, but then as soon as you start approaching full load, it starts to lean out and stumble because it's not providing enough gas pressure in order to run it properly. So
Weren't you saying though there was an issue? I don't know if it was a particular brand or not, but with the regulator / hose assemblies, where over time the diaphragms would fail and things like that.
yeah, that's actually what James picked up. So that LP 5500.
Oh, that was the one you couldn't get the regulator kit for, or it was $400 or
It was
whatever.
like $300. Yeah, $309. Plus 45 shipping was ridiculous. That's what he picked up the other day. So everyone that watches James' channel, just be on the lookout. He's going to be doing a Frankenstein there. And the thing is that when he picked it up, that machine was running at the end of my video. It was perfectly fine at that point. I just don't know how long it's going to last. I fixed
Yeah.
a tear in the priming diaphragm, where you push the button and then it will spit propane in there to purge the air out.
What's he going to run it on?
He's gonna, because you can't. He thought of, oh, can I just put a regular gas carburetor on it because it's a 319cc engine? I says no.
Yeah.
Look at the cylinder head. Look at a GP 5500 and
Oh
look
yeah.
at
The compression ratio is a lot
compression
different.
ratio is higher. So it's a special head that,
Yeah.
and it's all it is just that it's a you got a higher compression. So instead of 8-to-1, which is typical for your gasoline engine, runs 87 octane. This is more like a 10-to-1, I would say. I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure it's a 10-to-1, possibly even a 12-to-1. You get the efficiency back, so you're not really losing any power. But if you were to go and run gasoline on an engine like that, you have to run high test, which makes no sense.
Remember, Kohler did that years ago with their 10 horsepower K series. Anytime they had a 10 horsepower generator, they had what they called the LP head, and all the tractor pullers wanted that head because it went from 8 to 10 PS to 8 to 10 pound compression. So everyone was always looking to get that special head, and they were used a lot on, like I said, Kohler generators. But you'll see a lot of the Cub Cadet pullers always put them on their 10 horse K241. So.
That's awesome. That's funny.
What's that still? Oh, there you go. That's about the 800 psi still.
Yep. Boyle's gas law, normal. Okay. Oh, I guess I was wrong.
Why? What's it say?
Well, according to this, it's saying anywhere is about 100 to 200 psi. You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of a nitrogen tank, paintball,
Oh, okay.
nitrogen or CO2 tanks.
Like
CO2 tanks have
for welding.
definitely have 800 to 850 psi coming out of their nozzles. When I
Yeah.
used to play paintball, that's what that we would get primary regulators that would regulate it down on the gun to bring it down to like say 450 psi for the low pressure,
Mhm.
so that you would be able to shoot the paintball but not lose your distance or the range basically. So
Hmm.
yeah, maybe I think that's what I was thinking of. So thanks, Stella, for the thank you for the clarification. See, even even I can make a mistake there.
Yeah.
But yeah, nowadays the paintball industry uses the compressed air or nitrogen N2. It's basically very large three-phase motors running a high pressure air compressor to pump these things up to like 33,000 psi or 4,500 psi of available air pressure in there, but the nozzle regulates it to about 800 to 850 psi.
Oh, here's a good video for you, Gary. Our friend Miguel Bass that does all those bass stuff. He put out a new guess the bass line.
Oh, geez. Can you share your screen?
Uh, I don't know if I. No, it's on my phone. I was looking. Oop.
Oh, just send me the link for later.
Yeah, that's what you like. But Miguel Bass, he always because he's big Chris Squire fan, you know.
A
So
lot of people, yeah. I mean, he's a very influential, bass
yeah,
player. I mean, God rest his soul.
yeah.
But
Yeah, like I said, they did something about it. I mean, I don't know if it's the anniversary of his death or whatever, but they did something about him last week. Something about Chris Squire. I don't know, big something big.
yeah, yeah.
And
But yeah. So for propane, it's they wanted that. What I told James was that the higher compression is just not going to be conducive. So what I think he's going to do, even though that regulator that I was able to repair for as long as it's going to be, uh, he was thinking of just throwing something together with a US carb kit with just a demand regulator, like a KN regulator or a Garrettson, and see if he can, mount it on the side and just run it up to the propane injector
mhm,
assembly where the carburetor would go. Because that's all you need that, and then you also need the from US Carb. It's called the NPSK kit, or it's basically just the 12-foot hose with the primary regulator. Takes that, looks like 150, 200 psi, brings it down to that half a psi there.
mhm.
But I mean, the engine runs great. It's just he was thinking of even throwing it into like putting a Generac into a Champion frame. He has a whole bunch of parts, but I said either way, you're going to get a lot of views on it because it's Frankenstein and it's done by him.
Well, I'd say if he wants, he could even calculate the compression ratio based on the CCs of the head and mill it down a little bit. You know.
Yeah, no, I
So
mean it's one of those things because you can't get the parts for it.
yeah.
That's the problem with that machine. It's pretty much it'll run. I still see that LP 5500 and the 3250 go for like $300 to $500 depending on the condition. But something breaks on it, it's an expensive repair that it's worth more. It's cost more than the worth of the generator.
Mm.
It's too bad, but it's no different. That's why I think uh, the the industry went to dual fuels because they saw companies like US Carb and Central Maine and a few other ones, and now where they have a Nash fuel now that seems to be pretty popular. They realized then that okay, well, we better start bringing out conversions already converter on the machines already because people aren't setting them up properly,
Mm.
burning them up, and they are doing that more in the market now, as you see with Champion, Furman,
Mhm.
Duramax. Duramax seems to be pretty popular, actually. I'm in a Facebook group, and it seems they're actually in there. Like the Duramax people are actually the customer service people are actually in that group because there's a lot of chatter on it all the
More
time.
than Champion though, because I thought Champion was really going.
Champion's there, but Duramax seems to be getting a lot of attention, at least in this group. And this group's like a 30,000 people ish,
Well,
something like that. But you know, it's interesting.
hmm.
Maybe should take this live and we'll beam it into that group and see if we probably get a ton of questions there.
What is it called?
Uh,
Is it a Facebook one or?
it's a Facebook one, yeah. And I know you can stream to Facebook here, but
I don't know. Stella would know. Stella, are you still moderating with me or co-moderating or what? I don't know if you're still. Are
turn
you
it off.
able to do anything?
Some memes. So you got to get through.
Let's see.
Sorry, I got a lot of dog stuff that I got to go through here.
But what's the group called?
I'm grabbing it for you.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm a German Shepherd owner, so I got to go through all this crap. Social media is such a wasteland.
Mm.
It really is.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Kenny.
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Gary.
Hey.
Hot out there today.
Hot out there.
It's hot here, man. I'm sweating. I'm soaking wet.
What's hot? What's hot?
It's 54
Hot
to
to me.
52, 54 degrees Fahrenheit here.
No, not here.
Where are you? Oh,
It's
what
like
is it over there?
we're in southern Ontario. It's like 85, 90, 95. I don't know. It's hot.
Wow. Yeah, we got fall down here.
Maybe the sun's closer to us here than it is in Connecticut.
No, it's that El Nino stuff going on.
Mm.
Here we go. Groups. It just says generators and then portable generators to power entire house. There is 13,000 people in there, but then they also have there's a lot. I guess there's a lot of people in there that like to discuss that. I'm reading this here.
Yeah, I'm not a member yet.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of chatter in there, but there's quite a few groups out there that I usually don't join the public groups. I usually join the private ones, and they have decent size of following there. But there's always a lot of good talking points and whatnot. Total harmonic distortion has come up, and a lot of the fuel conversions have come up too.
Mm.
But yeah, maybe one of these days we'll go and get them included there because I know there's quite a bit of feedback there. But would love to be able to get James on here in order to kind of field some of those questions too. But
yeah, a little warmer here, 57 here.
57.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's a nice day.
Yeah, same word, James. But total 6 to 8 inches of rain, Wayne.
Yeah,
We got nothing.
Lucky.
Sunny.
Well, they said if this was snow, it'd be about 4 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're working on snow blowers now.
I got my first one yesterday. She called me up, and I said, "Nah, wait a couple weeks." But it's weird. We're going to go from 57 degrees to 30 in like a week or two.
Yeah, it's going to be going down. I think my first snowblower is coming in not this weekend, but next week. I got two
clocks don't change till November 5th. It's late.
Yeah. It's kind of like an instant. Once the clocks change, everyone's like, "Oh, I better get my snowblower done."
Yep.
But got some of the bigger ones too.
So have you guys seen all the new price increases on all the parts?
Which one or which?
I'm just about, well, right now we can't even quote. Like if something's on back order, we can't give a customer a definitive price.
Anything away? Any brand or what?
Well, on Briggs and Stratton, for example, we had a relay that Jake had on back order. Mm-hmm. And it was list price was $24 when we ordered it, and that's like, I think that's like 2 or 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. And we just got an update that the price is $44 list now.
Cow.
Oh wow!
So we canceled it.
Yeah.
That's what happened with it was an MTD part, but it was basically Briggs and Stratton. It was the Bluetooth module for a Cub Cadet 0-turn. And
I saw that video. I think you did.
Yeah, right? Poor guy was like $154. I'm like, all right, it's fine. $240. He had to go and buy because I think what happened was it was a superseded part. The original part probably cost $154. They're just trying to blow it out, and then $240 is the new updated design with some heftier relays and components in there. So he wound up having to bite the bullet, and then on top of that, he wound up having a hernia surgery when I delivered it back to him. So I said, I'm sorry you've had to deal with all that.
We just had a customer in today, brought back a Kubota. We serviced it in May the 1st for him. He used it from May until now. His house got sold. Condition on sale is running lawnmower and central vac, etc. Right?
Yep.
10 days before the sale closes, he brings the lawnmower. He says, I can't get it to start, right? Mm-hmm. The valve guide on the exhaust popped out, jammed the exhaust valve, bent the push rod, need a new head. Head's $356.
Sounds right, yeah.
And that's not even fully loaded head. That's just a bare
That's just
head.
their head, yeah.
Yeah, like Kawasaki parts. Yeah, but how
Yeah.
about
On a
getting them?
Kohler.
That's
It's on a Kohler,
that's
right?
Canadian dollars. Like I just picked up a Kawasaki head for an older FH series V-twin for a John Deere, and the guy out in Utah that I bought it from, he fully populated everything. He did all the work for me. It was $335 US, but
Yeah.
fully populated. You know, all
Yeah.
the valves, all the seals, all the springs,
right.
seats. And I said, hey, that's a good price. And all I had to do was slap it on. But I told
For everything, right.
for everything, I said, that's a good deal. But for anyone else, you know, if you get it, that's why I went out to Utah. I was willing to wait a week for it to come in, because anywhere around here, yeah, it was about that much. Just a little over $300 for just the bare head. And then you had to, you know, do all the valve work and everything, which a lot of people don't realize, that you have to go and lap the valves in, even though it's a brand new head.
Yeah.
You have to do that in order for it to seal properly.
Then a guy shows up to the yesterday, brings 3 twin-cylinder Briggs & Stratton carbs for Jake to clean.
Yep.
He said, the last one you did runs like a clock, so I got 3 more, and I brought a lawnmower. I need you to check out what's going on with it. He had water in the fuel. That's what was wrong. So he sees Jake working on his Kubota. He said, oh, what's wrong with this? Jake says, I need a new head. It's $356 just for a bare head. The guy said, I just sold an engine to a guy, and I had that head sitting in my shop for about a year, and I asked him if he wanted it, and he said, yeah, I'll take it. And the guy took it. So I said, get a hold of him and see if I can buy it. Tell him I'll give him $50 for it.
That's good. I mean, I say on a push mower, I would say forget it. If it was a riding mower, I tell people all the time, because at least around here anyway, people are cheap. Flat out said, they're cheap. Yeah. They don't want to, if they're going to sell that lawnmower or riding mower for $450 to $600 on Facebook Marketplace, but it's going to cost them $300 just for a bare head plus the extra components and your labor, they're going to say the hell with it, unless it's something they really want to do, and they figure that, okay, spending that money versus buying a $2,200 Home Depot special. Some of them think that way. Other times they like, oh, the hell with it, I'll just go and get another $450, $600 machine and run that into the ground until it dies. You know, it's just, you can't work for free. I mean, doing that kind of big work on engines, it's, you got to say to yourself, what are you really doing it for? How much longer is it going to last?
Yeah,
I just don't understand. People spend money on the most wackiest things.
Well, they should be buying these fully serviced lawnmowers that we've got, because the new ones, we've got a bunch that are only 2 years old, self-propelled, where the transmissions are already shot on them.
Yeah.
And the things are like brand new.
Yeah, well, the plastic transmissions, right?
So I'm selling them as push mowers for $115 to $125.
Yeah. I mean, push mowers, but a lot of people they don't have the upper body strength to do it. That's why they need to push. They need the self-propel. I mean, I had a lady that has an old JE45 John Deere push mower. Now, this thing is actually really nice, but it needs a new clutch. The clutch was like 140, and then the transmission had stopped. I saw this belt spinning, but the transmission wasn't spinning the wheels, and I'm like, that thing's going to need a rebuild, because you can't exactly just replace it, the whole transmission. They actually have a rebuild kit, because you're just going to wind up spending a ton of money. And I said, you're either going to spend $350, $400 with parts and everything to get it fixed and running longer with a Kawasaki motor, or you spend $350 for a homeowner special, and maybe it'll last 5 years with a cheap plastic carb or whatever that engine is, Ken. I don't know what it is. It's got the plastic carb and the plastic.
The Briggs EX.
Oh, the EX, yeah.
The EX, yeah. It's just absolute crap.
The E is, I think, the E. Which one is the primer? Which one's the choke? One is the choke and one's the primer.
Yeah, I think the choke, the auto choke one, is the EXI.
EX.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, EXI. Okay.
And I think the EX is the prime one.
Every time I see one of those engines, I tell people I don't even want to work on it, because it's a waste of time.
Well, the only thing we found wrong with them is the jets are so small that just the tiniest piece of stuff that gets into that carburetor is going to plug that up. It's great for business. I can't beat it. I know exactly what's wrong with them when they come in.
Oh yeah. And then
if they're flooding out, it's that jet, the O-ring's gone on it, and it's bypassing that O-ring.
Yeah, like I said, for the small operation that I have, it's just I see one of those and I know that people aren't going to pay the money for it. They're not going to pay my time to go. It's it probably going to cost $45, $55 in parts plus my time, and the time is that's where they're not going to pay for it. They're like, oh, I'll just get another one. Well,
yeah. Hey, Kenny, you're always pulling stuff up on your phone. Check out a Hahn, H-A-H-N Eclipse lawnmower.
Yeah, what about the old ones? What about them?
Yeah, how old is that?
Usually 60s, 70s for those.
I just picked one up.
Is it yellow? Yellow?
Yeah, yellow. Yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
I just picked up one from a scrapper. He just drove up. He said, I got 3 lawnmowers. I said, what do you want for them? He said, $30 for all 3.
Jeez,
the deck on the one was really good, and it had a Kohler engine on it that had compression. The other one was a push mower, and the other one was that Hahn, and it's a self-propelled job too.
Yeah. Yeah, Hahn is a decent. They mostly had Briggs on those, all of them. And but yeah, they started out. What does it say here? 67.
Now what's that? That piece broke right out.
This is the plastic timing gears in that engine you guys were just talking about.
Yeah, and it blew.
And you blew out. It cracked.
Oh, yeah. James had one of those too. It blew out.
Oh,
I
gotta go. Okay,
that's the.
I gotta go. I'll be right back. I gotta sign some papers.
Yes, sir. Throw them on mute there so we don't.
No, Hahn was 67 to 77, I believe. They were only like 10 years.
Yeah, but that was the one time and only time that I ever repaired one of these machines. And I said to the guy, never, this is one time I'm ever going to go and fix something like this because I don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
Because you got that cheap plastic timing gear on the crankshaft, and then you got a $45 cheap camshaft that will spin on the axle there. Just complete garbage.
Yep.
Complete garbage.
Yeah, I actually, my first EX that went bad was actually a valve seat unseated. And I was like, and the dealer, and it sat in my house for like 6 months because the guy didn't really want it or anything. It was a brand new Toro mower. He had it for like 2 months. And all of a sudden, 2 or 3 months, and then it stopped. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't start. And I'm like, 2 or 3. And we looked up the date code. And I said to at my dealer, I said to Justin, Justin, this thing's been sitting in my garage for like 6 months. And I said, and then he ran it 6 months prior to that. So it's literally been sitting for a year. And then if we looked at the manufacturing date, it was only manufactured like 3 months before that. So it was like a brand new engine, yet it dropped a valve seat, an exhaust valve seat.
Yeah, such crap.
Yeah, but they warranted it. They warranted it. Sent out a whole new head. But a whole new head was only like $100. It wasn't that
for a small engine like that. But I mean, typically, like what we'll see for a 13 to 15 or 17 horsepower single cylinder, you're going to spend $280, $300 for an unpopulated head. You know, if you get a V twin, either it be a Kawasaki or a Briggs and Stratton Intech, you know, those heads are going to be about the same price. But then you might get lucky with another $40, $50 of all the little tiny parts. It's no small feat to do that. To do work like that, and then you got to say to yourself, well, how many? Like the machine that I did it on had over 1,200 hours on it. Now, if it was well taken care of, probably wouldn't mean much at all at 1,200 hours. But you also had to figure that there's 1,200 hours on the transaxle too. When was the last time that the fluid was changed?
Wait, Hahn used to have its own newsletter to all the dealers.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big website, Hahn Eclipse. There's a whole website all about
I'll
those.
have to check it out. We had a Ford shop right next door to our Ford shop. It was called Hahn Forge back in the day. But this is another one. When Jake gets his shop, I'll likely try to get this thing running, fixed up, operational. And then when he gets a shop, like a regular shop with room, then he'll have a shelf and we'll stick this up as classic, equipment.
It's funny. I'm looking at one of the Hahn newsletters from 1967. It was like employee spotlight. This woman's probably dead by now.
Yeah, you never know.
So this is from 1971. It was like employee spotlight.
You guys like to work on old stuff there. At a 1970, that was a 1970-ish wheel horse. Big monster. That was probably the earliest thing that I've worked on so far. a lot of times I just don't want to bother with the older stuff like that because
Well, in my garage now, I have my Cub Cadet 123, which is the first hydrostatic garden tractor that International Harvester made.
Yep.
And that thing still, I mean, it's never been apart, 1966. And I used it to plow snow, oh my God, for about 10 or 12 years. Then I parked it in my garage, and I bought a used Bridgeport, and I parked that in front of it, and it's sat there for years because I didn't have enough room in the basement for the Bridgeport. So when I finally put the Bridgeport in the basement, the tires were all flat, this and that. But I tell you, I hooked up a battery, started right up, and it's the original engine from 1966. So, you know, that's 57 years old, you know. And it's a Kohler K301. I mean, it's a beautiful, you know, thing.
Yeah, I mean, things were built to last. I mean, nowadays, it's if you have the space to store that stuff, that's it.
That's it. My garage is not conducive to storage. Ask James about the generator I gave him. The gas tank was a little rusty, and that thing was like almost mint condition when I put it in the garage. But my garage is all concrete, so it sweats and it gets wet, and it's not good.
Yeah, if he's got a storage facility now where he puts all that stuff, and he said,
I saw that.
He was saying to me the other night that you know, he's got so much in there, and a lot of it is spring equipment. He's got a lot of, you know, push mowers. He's got a lot of.
It's funny. I was watching his video when he's going out there. It's pitch black. It's like a place where he stores dead bodies. You know, he's driving out there. There's no one else on the road.
Mild-mannered James.
The lonely road. There's no one else at the storage facility. It's like, what's in that storage?
He's going to go postal on you one day. You don't buy his generator.
Like, what's actually in there? So
we had a guy stop in today. He's looking for rings for a lawn boy, likely lawn boy 2-stroke lawnmower.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the model number on it? And he gave me the model number, and I said, geez, that's almost like the one I got in my shed. I got one.
Toro still sells the parts. You can still
I've got a 1970 lawn boy in running condition, mint. It looks like brand new, right? So I said to the guy, listen, you want to buy this? We'll pull it down. We'll fire it up. It's got alkylate fuel in it, so I know it'll fire up. It's been sitting there for 2 years. You know, it's got dust on it, but I know it'll fire up. I'll sell it to you for $125. And the guy's thinking about it. And I said, you realize what it's going to cost you to get the rings? Are you doing the work yourself, or are you farming it out to a shop? And he said, no, I got to have a shop do it. I said, well, we won't do that. And you know what it's going to cost you? 125 is a good deal. He said, I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, I've got 2 lawn boys left. One's a 4-stroke, one's a 2-stroke. And I love the 2-stroke because I have some hills on the side of my driveway where you try and put the lawnmower down. I get nervous every time I tilt my regular lawnmower down, but it's an E series, so I don't give a shit if it blows up. So, but you know, you go like to take the mower, you know, where all the little hills are. But if you have a 2-stroke, it just doesn't matter.
Well, we got a guy that was cutting ditches, and he blew up. We sold him 2 lawnmowers, and he got 2 years out of each of them cutting ditches before he blew them, because no oil when they're down, right? And he comes, and at that time we didn't have a 2-stroke for him, but he said, you know what, I'm getting 2 years out of these mowers you're selling me for $100. He said, you got another one? And I had a Tecumseh, and I think it's 4 years, and that thing's still going, and he's cutting them ditches, and he's into 4 years now.
Yeah, it's amazing what people use lawnmowers for. You know, I've got bramble, all kinds of bramble in back of where my property is, and I just take that E-series Murray piece of garbage and I don't care. You know, I sharpen the blade, knife sharper, I just attack it. You know?
Do you guys? So do you charge anything, an extra fee for working on antique equipment like that? Just curious.
Yeah. No, if somebody brings us something and I can get the parts, it's the same hourly rate.
Yeah, a lot of the local guys will send the old shit to me because they don't want to work on it. You know what I mean? I'm talking old, like, you know, 80s, 70s, 60s, you know, back then. You know? Yeah,
like we'll tell them it's not worth, like if it's vintage, we'll tell them it's got value only because it's a vintage piece of equipment. Right. If somebody brings me something that I know I couldn't even sell for $100, I tell them it's going to cost them $150 to $175, and if it's self-propelled, maybe $200 for me to get it fully serviced. So look, here's a self-propelled lawnmower. I'll keep your lawnmower. Then I'll get that engine going because I know he said it ran, so I know it's a good engine. I've got a bunch of really good decks. I'll swap that out, and so he'll buy it for like $150 or $125. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then how much labor are you putting into this? Are you putting in at least an hour of labor into this?
It's all free. It's all free because I'm doing nothing except drinking brandy and coffee and watching the UFC, and I'm tearing apart stuff in between. So it really doesn't. I never look at it when I'm working and taking a trade and swapping something out.
Yep.
I just say Jake's been in business now for 10 years, and off the first trade in that he did, I always say at one time we made $3,000 off of that trade in. It's likely 5 now.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, how did he ever make out? He went on vacation, didn't he? Was he on vacation?
No, this is what happened. He bought that 67 Mustang and it's been in storage for 4 years.
Yeah.
So they started ripping it down and they found out that where they're going to have to weld to, there's too much rust damage and they didn't feel comfortable on doing it. And some guy in Owen Sound, which is about 3.5 hours from here, had a 67 that he was completely rebuilding, but it didn't have an engine. And he wanted 14.5. Jake went down and bought it, took a set of wheels to put on it, loaded up on a trailer, bought it for, I think, 13.5 or something, stripping all the parts off for resale because they're all brand new. Taking the 67 parts that he's got, putting them on this. So he's ending up making 1 out of 2 and then got all these brand new parts the guy had on, like disc brakes and everything, that
all the modern amenities.
Is it another coupe or is it a fastback?
Yeah, no, it's a coupe.
Yeah.
It's identical.
Yeah.
No.
So anyways, him and his buddies are working on that. He's going to be doing, he hasn't done a video for a while because we've been swamped, just hasn't had the time. And he's going out hiking on Saturdays. He's taking weekends off from now on. So he's going hiking on Saturdays and then they're working on the Mustang on Sundays. And then throughout the week, he's doing the small engine repair.
Hey, good to keep busy, right?
Yeah, that Mustang will take, it'll be a while, I think, but they totally stripped that other one down in one day, like in less than 8 hours. They had everything stripped off of it.
Yeah.
It's the best thing about those machines is that they're so cookie cutter as far as
you can work on them. There's room.
Work on them. There's work.
Yeah, it's not like you can't get your hand in to get a spark plug out.
Yeah, look how much. Here's the X324 that I'm working on right now. You can see how much I had to go and take the whole operator station off in order to get to that top pulley there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, never easy.
Never easy. And it's also the quadra steer.
Oh yeah. Those are nice for getting around trees, but
it's but the steering axle is for the rear wheels. You actually have to remove that whole thing in order to replace the spindle and the pulley.
So what's that repair going to cost?
3 hours of labor plus $56 in parts.
So that's roughly how much?
240 plus 56. So yeah, with tax, probably a little over 340.
340 US.
Yeah.
Times 38%.
Yep.
So in Canadian, $470.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad.
And there's a guy locally that's selling one of those Stigas that hobby that Klaus has, Klaus in Denmark.
Yep.
They have a lot of those Stigas. They're like, I don't know, they swivel in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with that weird handle.
Yeah, there's a guy locally selling one for $650, and it's a Boland's and it's mint.
Yeah. Well, and I think I said this on other streams too. It's like you're not paying when I service people's machines, they're not paying for my time. They're paying for my experience.
Yeah.
I was able to diagnose what that issue was in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the fact is that something like that, is it going to take me a full 3 hours to rip that apart because I know where to go? No. But I'm still going to charge that much because had they not known what it was, they would have probably spent that much trying to figure it out.
And you don't know, and you can't really quote on anything like that because you don't know how many bolts are going to be seized. And
yeah, I mean, this one it's 9 years old, well taken care of. And I said to the guys, like, I know it's, a little bit older, but this is a an actual dealership John Deere, you should fix it because it's built heavier than and better quality than your Home Depot big box special. But at the same time, he's like, everyone's got a budget, but I gave him an idea of what it is because we listened to it. I'm like, sounds like it's that. Oh, there you go.
That's the newer Stiga handle. They got those weird.
Oh, yeah.
Weird.
Look at that thing.
That's the newer one. Yeah. Ergonomic.
Never seen that.
Yeah. Stiga. They always have the handles go to like a rubber bushing and out.
Weird.
That's the newest, latest, and greatest.
Well, boys, I got to go and pick up fish and chips for supper.
Ooh, nice. What kind of fish, though?
Walleye.
Ooh, that's good.
Our local, we have a fish market that fishes for these in Lake Erie, so it's all fresh, either Lake Erie yellow perch or pickerel walleye.
Hey, Wayne, check this out. This is what I picked up for free. It's a 1,000 square inch smoker, electric smoker.
That's nice.
And the first maiden voyage was a nice 2-pound fillet of salmon.
Ooh. Beautiful. The wife would have loved that. She's a salmon eater.
This came out so good. We had a nice barbecue rub from Pampered Chef, actually, because my wife has an account with a lot of those places. But I smoked it at 180 degrees or in thereabouts. It took about 3.5, almost 4 hours, but it was perfect. It fell off the skin and everything. It was so good. The dogs were hovering around like sharks for it. First time I've ever done a true smoker, but you mentioned fish. I'm like, oh, check that out.
I don't know if they sell it in the States, but watch for a company called Joyful Lids. They've got excellent spices and rubs. The Chubby Butcher uses them all the time, and really good, like some maple and bacon rubs and spices and some really good stuff. I know they're local in Sobeys here, but I don't know if they're selling that stuff in the States yet.
Probably not. I'll have to take a look, but you should. I'll have to show you guys the next time. I have.
What temperature is that here when you smoke? What temperature?
I usually do 180 to 225 at the most.
Okay.
That particular smoker is a Pit Boss Austin XL, and it's a pretty big smoker, but it's also harder to control that temperature. Because one side could be 275, the other side could be like 250, maybe 245. So you have to try to kind of mix and play around with the settings a little bit.
You would fire it?
It's pellet.
Pellet, yeah. Pellet,
yep. Got some Bear Mountain gourmet pellets there. Basically, it's the competition blend, but sweet but still smoky. Came out really good.
Yeah, it's a good.
I want to do a nice steak next, but either that or just some candy bacon.
Get a brisket.
Yeah, well,
brisket's the best on a smoker.
It is, but and I can order it from the local meats store here in town. But the thing is, like, the smallest you're going to find is like 3 or 4 pounds.
Yeah, it's big.
It's a big piece of meat.
So you call up me and James. We have a few beers, and it's gone.
Well, it's just something like that is going to take quite a few hours to cook. You guys, you're gonna have to help me for like the second and third rounds, and then you can all have some food there.
And then you get the burnt ends. You take that cap off. That's what you do the burnt ends with.
Ooh.
Yep. Oh, all right. Well,
okay, boys, I'm getting hungry. Take care.
Take care.
Yeah. Usually Friday around here. Usually during Lent, though, it's always fish.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Fridays to me, even growing up, my mother every Friday had some type of fish product or something.
Yeah, I used to do that growing up, and then I reached the age of reason, and I don't do that anymore.
My mother is funny. People say it's gross, but she used to make macaroni and cheese. She'd take the elbow macaroni, a jar of Cheese Whiz, and a couple cans of tuna fish, and that was our dinner. Friday dinner.
We do that today. So we'll make the mac and cheese, buffalo mac and cheese casserole.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I mean, not in the direction of small engineer, but what my wife makes. So she makes the regular box mac and cheese. And then,
my wife loves it. My wife and daughter love that.
But we'll make that. We'll make 2 boxes of that. We'll then put, then once it's the cheese and everything's mixed in there, then we'll go and put the Frank's hot sauce, the Frank's the buffalo, but the red hot.
Yeah.
And then from that, just reading Haney's, I could definitely do that. But don't forget, Haney, I'm a home brewer. I got a 16
Remember,
tap.
Gary's even got liquor on tap.
I got liquor on tap. I have a 18 tap draft system down in the basement. There's not that much beer on tap right now, but if I was to get back into brewing there, I have like 6 beers that I could tap right now if I wanted to. So they don't have to bring any beer. They just bring some food, throw down for whatever you want towards the brisket, and there you go.
James, are you on the train or are you home?
He's probably on his way back home at this point.
Yeah.
But no, that's what's so the mac and cheese. So it's red hot Franks, and then some breadcrumbs. I forget what flavor they are, and then mixing in the canned chicken. So it's just the lean chicken, no fat or anything like that. You mix that in. It's all, we shred it up, put it in there, and then we put it in the oven for a half an hour, and it crusts up nice. And we usually, eat it in squares. And that stuff is, it may sound gross to some, but I think it tastes amazing.
Oh yeah, like I said, when years ago the boxed Kraft mac and cheese used to be the powder. Now it's Cheese Whiz. It's just Cheese Whiz in a foil pack.
I have the old stuff. You
still have the powder?
Yeah.
Oh, because
but it's in date still. It's in date still.
No. But some of the newer Kraft stuff is a foil packet with Cheese Whiz in it. See, is yours actually Kraft or is it a different brand?
No, it's Kraft.
I wonder if they still sell it, one with the powder and one with the...
Yeah, one with the powder. Yeah, it's that you have to add butter. We don't use real butter because my wife has got a lactose allergy.
Yep.
So we usually use like margarine or vegetable oil or something like that. And I still think it tastes great. James, yes, I know. If you guys hung out in the basement right now, it's a bit of a mess.
We wouldn't exactly go there to work on stuff, but
no, I mean, I wouldn't expect you. There's not. Honestly, I don't have a lot of people. Sue and I don't have as many people over as we once did, just because we're always so busy with with her pet stuff, and then with me, the small engine. Any free time, we're going to spend it together with our dogs. But
hey, how's the old dog doing?
She's good. She's going to be 11 in February.
No. Did you ever hear any more on that other one that you gave up, and then it gave up again or something? Or
no, she wound up. You're talking about the black female,
the one that you gave back, but I thought it didn't work out at the one who took it after that.
No, I think that there was, maybe that was a foster that we were doing. See, we work with the special needs. For those that don't know, we work with a special needs rescue here in town, in Watertown, and we will usually foster for a couple days. At one point we were looking at a third dog, but because our 2 dogs are already, one's senior, going to be 11 in February, and the other one's special needs. He's got a autoimmune disorder. It's just the dynamic just doesn't work for a third dog. But at some point we tried. We had a little female that we had nursed seen a little girl for when she was like 4 to 6 weeks old, and then at 11 weeks we took her home, but didn't realize that she was dominant. Oh yeah, Cheese Whiz, yeah. That takes me back as a kid. But unfortunately that one didn't work out. But then we got another male shepherd, an all black male shepherd. Nothing wrong with them, no special needs. Very sweet boy, but he's a puppy. He's 2 years old. He had all this energy, and it just got to the point where, again, the dynamic just doesn't always work with all the dogs. You have ones that are always wanting to play, but our dogs are much more they're very laid back. They just want to hang out and love you. They don't want to necessarily run around because they're getting older.
Yeah.
But someday. But right now that's how it is. Mystic is doing good, and Dallas.
See, this, for those dating myself, this is the container I remember.
Yeah, my grandfather had Cheese Whiz is a big thing here in the Northeast United States. So
that, and when they put it in the can too, the cheese in the can.
No, that's crap. In the can, in the glass jar. Yes.
Yeah, the glass jar, yeah. Like I said, that was mac and cheese.
That's a staple here in the Northeast United States, Massachusetts, Connecticut, even parts of New York. But it's more of a Connecticut thing, I would say. I just don't see it. I don't see a lot of people making a big deal of it. But here in Connecticut, I mean, when I was a kid, that we had Cheese Whiz all the time.
Oh yeah. No, but it's funny. My wife saying, "You guys are Cheese Whiz," and I said, "Yeah, but you're eating the powdered stuff. What's worse?"
Probably make people puke by that, but you know what? I liked it. I didn't die from it.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
But it was a good way to feed a big well, not big. We only had 5 people, but still.
Well, I mean, I'm the oldest of 3. You know, us 3 kids and my parents, and then we had a dog. We would oftentimes just be having an assembly line of just you're making meatballs, you're making spaghetti, you're making sauce, you're making lasagna.
Now I'm getting thirsty.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Wait, what? You want a Guinness?
No, I said that just popped up on my phone. I'm like, ooh, who's sending me that?
See, even though it costs, when you figure that if I'm going to make a stout or a porter, for example, I am going to spend maybe $72, $75 with everything for a 5-gallon batch of beer. And now factor in how many 12-ounce bottles that is when you divide it out. And how much does it cost to go to the bar to buy a 12-ounce porter or a 16-ounce pour of a porter or a stout? You're going to spend $8 or $9 these days.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw an article.
Ahead of the game there.
Yeah.
It gets dangerous.
I just saw an article. Some guy sent me this article. They're talking about memories of meeting famous people and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And this kid and his 2 friends were walking in South Africa one day. Guess who was walking in front of them?
Oh wow, Freddie Mercury.
Imagine meeting Freddie. Just you're on vacation in South at Johannesburg, and hey, it's Freddie Mercury.
That's early. That's earlier before he got sick. I think
Yeah,
probably like the mid '80s.
Yeah.
Hey, when I was born.
Like I said, the only famous ones I ever met, I mean, Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward up at Lime Rock. I met them. They were racing.
Yeah, because he's a local Connecticut person.
My brother and I, back in 74, 75, whatever it was, were in the elevator in the Contemporary Hotel in Disney World. It was like 3 a.m, and who walks on? Lee Majors and Farrah Fawcett. We were just sitting there. Now, remember, back then I was 11, he was 12. My brother, we were just like, we couldn't even talk. We're just like, we didn't even ask for autographs or anything. We're just like, they were, I guess, performing or they were doing a stage show or something like that. But it was like, really? $6 million man and, all that. Oh, my gosh. But that was our 15 minutes of, oh, my gosh. It's funny. We tell people, no, you're full of crap. I don't believe you. It's like, oh, true. We got no witnesses,
Pictures or it didn't happen, right?
Yeah. But.
Yeah, see this, and that's the thing. So I love cheese. I'm a big cheese fan. But, we'll get the blocks of cheese, and I love the aged cheese. I love the aged cheddar because as cheese ages, the lactose ferments out, and that's what gives it its characteristic pungent flavor. And it's great because lactose-free cheese is good for people that are lactose intolerant. So there you go. But,
they're doing an event by us, and they're having the original ambulance from, what was it, Cannonball Run or whatever?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, remember Jack Elam, the guy with the weird eye who was always injecting himself?
Yep.
Then there was a Captain, what's his name? Dom DeLuise, right? Captain, what was his name? Captain, remember Burt Reynolds would always smack him? Captain something. Captain Obvious.
When I was young, my wife will probably, if she's watching this right now, she's probably laughing at me because she knows that I have no idea what you're talking about. No, like the early, I remember Knight Rider. I watched Knight Rider religiously because it was already in syndication. It was from 82 to 86, but it was syndicated for the longest time in the late 80s, early 90s as I was growing up. But oh man, I love that show. I really love that show.
You know what I used to love, and it's ironic because of helicopters. Airwolf.
Airwolf. Mm-hmm. I remember that one. I remember the A-Team. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They were all in like a block of time when I was.
Yeah, NBC was all.
That's
NBC.
my childhood. I mean, I'm on the cusp of being a millennial, but I'm part of Gen X. It's like, and again, it just depends on who you ask. They would say, okay, you're a Zennial. So I was born in 85. All right, well, 85 from 81 to 85 is kind of like that middle generation where you're still born offline. You're still born when there's no internet and none of this social media crap that we have to deal with.
Oh, there we go, John. John got it right. Captain Chaos.
Captain Chaos. Yeah.
He'd come out, da da da, and then all the outtakes. Those were the best though. When you had all the outtakes in those movies, the last 2 or 3 minutes, I just sit there for the outtakes. They were hilarious.
Yeah. Some of the good stuff there. All right, man. Well, I think I know we were starting on small engine, but I know we just usually have the usual suspects on here. We got to expand the audience a little bit. I mean, I got
unless James is coming up. I don't know if he's still there. He said he was home, but I don't know if
he's got his kids too. He's got.
They're back. They're back. I know they were in Germany. I thought, or overseas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he said he
I
did
thought
say.
he had a 1 week respite.
Yeah, not sorry,
Yeah.
jogging my memory too, because and he just told me this the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's trying to catch up with all the stuff. But I think I think he's pretty busy. He's trying to take the time and use it use it up as much as he can.
Mm.
It's sad we know this. Yes, I know. Working on it. Oh, there. Okay, so he's there. He's there.
Oh,
Ooh,
Mr. Flight. Oh, that's not good.
see, I really have no. I have no desire. My wife and I have like no desire to do any major traveling. I mean,
Oh, but yeah, you know what? I was in Germany for a while back in the 90s for work. And
yeah,
oh
back
my
in the
God.
'90s, before 9/11.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes
Yeah, yeah.
I have
But I'm saying,
no desire to do that.
but it is absolutely.
I'll go to Canada. I'll even go and I'll spend some time up there. But you'll never see me going south.
Yeah.
No Cancun, Mexico, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. We got
Yeah.
we got our dogs. We had it's got senior and special needs dogs.
Mm. All right. Well, we can call it. It's an hour and 15. So tomorrow, I don't know who's going on, if Conquer's going on or who's going on, but hopefully someone will go on tomorrow about 1:30, 2 o'clock our time. So, oh, wait, there he is. It's an hour.
Sorry, you can't leave yet.
Wait, I was going to say, did you show up to say, good night, drive safely? Or what was?
Thanks for checking in the other night. I know you had a good drive in the dark there with that honking generator on the back.
Yeah, I got a little nervous. I thought it was loose for a second on the highway. Yeah. I'm like, oh God, I hit a bump and I'm just waiting for the thing to fall off the back.
We were talking about your storage unit, and in your video, it looks a little creepy there. There's no other people on the road, the dark road, and no one at the storage unit place. And
yeah,
it was creepy. What was it, last night, the night before when I was there? It was like 10 o'clock. Just very.
Well, you
quiet.
had worked on stuff there. You had lights and everything. I mean, someone could just come by and rob you.
I know.
That's what a 40 caliber solution is for.
There you go.
Oh God, I'm paranoid of that. If someone cleaned me out of that locker, I'd have no content for like the next year.
I think with all your subscribers, they can help you out with that.
All the donations, yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting plenty of those. I haven't purchased anything in a long time.
So what happened with the family? Just
shouldn't be a need.
Was the airlines, or what was the deal?
I didn't ask too many details. I heard they missed their flight. They were supposed to land at 8 o'clock Eastern time today.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the airline's giving them money for a hotel, for meals.
Where are they flying out of? Which airport? Do you remember?
That is a great question. I don't know offhand, but they were supposed to land at JFK. A good thing.
Unless you're in one of the major, there's only like 3 or 4. But if you're not coming out of one of the major ones, it can get kind of gnarly over there.
Yeah, and they had a stopover too. I'm pretty sure in the Netherlands.
Stopover in Charlotte or O'Hare.
But the worst part is they took their luggage, so they don't have their luggage anymore.
Oh no!
Yeah, usually they'll comp you for stuff like that. Eventually, you get comped.
Yeah, they will.
That's
eventually.
Well, I hope they get home safe there, James.
Yeah, well, it's probably for the best. The flooding's pretty bad today.
Yeah, well, it's
How is it your way, James?
I mean, some roads are, I wouldn't say flash flood, but they are. You got to be careful. I mean, some puddles are pretty deep, and some ponds and rivers are getting pretty close to going over.
Yeah,
they're saying New York up to 10 inches, here about 8 inches. So
8 inches, yeah, that's about 6 to 8 over around here. I mean, it's been flooding out so bad on some of the other roads in downtown. Thankfully, soon I live. You know where I am. We're on a bit of a murder horn of a hill. There's a Simpson.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, we'd have to get about 100 feet of rain to flood me out.
Yeah, and take that much, and then probably a Category 2 hurricane to even get the lights on, because all my utility is underground.
Yeah. Well, I just fixed a trash pump, so if anyone needs a pump, let me know.
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of people with flooded basements today.
Yeah. We're talking about the generator you picked up, though. What do you plan on doing with that, though, Jim?
The LP.
Oh, that one. Actually, I called US Carb today to speak to them. So I was going to put the Garrettson regulator on it. Mm-hmm. And I already have some of the adapters needed. I just need the regulator. And then I need the little top that goes on the top of the regulator for the flow adjustment. But I don't know offhand the inner diameter of the line that feeds to the carb. So I actually have to go down there, disconnect that line, and measure up that diameter, because they have different sizes.
I think that might be either a 3/8. I think it could be a 3/8 or a quarter.
It looks. I think it's a 3/8. It looked actually pretty similar to what they sent to me on the last.
I have that here. I'll measure it for you when I have a chance. But I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, it's a 3/8.
Okay.
But,
what do you have though? What do you got to measure?
I have a micrometer. Just measure.
No, he said it's
they want to know the line that goes to the carburetor.
Wait a minute. So there's two lines going to the carburetor. There's the vacuum lock off, and then you have the main propane line.
Yeah, the main propane line.
Oh, that's a much bigger one.
But isn't that just the nipple on the carburetor slightly smaller than that nipple, or?
No, I think for that one is actually just it's not a barb. I think it's actually just
threaded in.
No, it's got the bulb on at the end of it, just like you would like a regular fuel line. But it might be. I'm pretty sure it's a 3/8. But yeah, now I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is. So I almost ordered it. I'm surprised though; those regulators aren't as expensive as I thought. It's the kits. The kit is about $200. The regulator is about $85, $90.
Oh, it's a little bit more now. Wow, the KN regulators.
Yeah,
because then you get it's called the load block that's on top of it, where you can regulate the flow.
It doesn't come with the load block. That's what I need to order separate, and they don't even list it on their site. You have to call them. That part. Unless you get a kit.
Right.
What's a load block? What is that?
A load block is it looks like there's a screw on and a locking nut there, and it basically closes off the outport of the demand regulator to restrict the flow of propane going there. So it's
the equivalent of adjusting a needle, to get the right air fuel mix.
Yep.
Right. But I mean that's what I was hoping. Like, if you can, I'm glad that you'll be able to use it. Really, I mean, it runs now the way it is. But
how big is that one?
5,500 watts. Yeah. And it ran 5,500 watts perfectly fine, about 12 or 14% THD at full load. Like I said, it's just a bit of a pain in the butt to start sometimes, because that regulator's not the primary regulator had a tear in it.
All the propane ones I've tested, I struggle starting it compared to like gasoline. It's just you can flood it really easily by hitting that.
Ever since that one I had that I brought to Gary's, I'm never touching another propane.
Send it.
What happened to that one? Was that one? Did you fix
that? Was the one
Gary?
where the mice went crazy with it, and I finally called the guy up and said, "Look, I'm sorry." I said, "But we put a brand new carb on it and everything." Gary's like, "Let's take apart the control panel," and you opened it up, and the mice had a field day.
Oh my God. Yeah. It wasn't worth it. The entire wiring harness they had to eat through, because the insulation of a lot of the wires these days, especially the inexpensive ones, are soy-based. They're not, and they have a very low insulation rating. So and it's low voltage anyway. But any of usually it's class F, as in Frank, insulation for a lot of the main windings. But a lot of those cheaper champions are not even, they're copper-clad aluminum wiring.
Yeah, but that was our favorite brand. What was it? Begins with an F. What do we call what was that brand?
Furman.
There you go.
FIRMAN. Yeah. Those guys are over in Arizona with some offshoots from Champion that used to work there that are working for Furman there. But I mean, I was just saying to Ken there, James, that the Duramax seems to be making a huge marketing push at least on my newsfeed anyway, because I'm always looking up generator stuff just like you. But Duramax is pretty active in a lot of these generator groups on Facebook and even on Instagram as well, on a lot of the different social medias, and they're actually watching, guys like us and watching those groups on what people are saying. And a lot of them, it's like, hey, I'm having a problem with this. I can't get it started, or there's a problem here, or like R&L carriers, for example, is an LTL common carrier. They were doing all the deliveries down in Florida when the hurricane hit, and they're like, listen, R&L is getting back going with their operations. We're going to get you your new generators delivered before as the hurricane comes in.
Amazon now.
What do you think of Duramax? I kind of like them.
I like them, actually. Yeah, they actually have they're almost like a Honda clone for their prime movers. But you go onto their website, and I'm supposed to be seeing it's an XP 13,000 HX in a couple weeks. Guy,
we got that for $14.99 at Amazon.
Yeah, that's let me see if I can present it here.
And most of theirs I think are copper.
Yes, they do say it's copper. Yeah,
they say it's copper. Yeah.
Yeah, so like here.
It's a nice bonus.
Yeah, so this is the machine that I'm going to be picking up in a couple weeks. So it's really nice. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like I'm on the screen.
Yeah,
Now.
I can see it.
But yeah, the carburetor. Okay, so it is on the side here, but it's 13,000 peak watts and 10,500 running watts. All right, and then they derated a little bit with the propane.
But for $1,500, I mean, that's not really a lot of money, right?
No, it's not bad at all. I mean, it's got all the control ports, but the problem is it's 12 to 20% total harmonic distortion.
Oh, yeah, so you can't really do much with it. Yeah. That
is the problem with a lot of these generators. That's the problem. You're going to have high total harmonic distortion. I'm sure they're getting a lot of complaints about that destroying the control boards in their HVAC system, which makes sense. But there are other ones. I think they just came out with let's look at the dual fuels. I know that's something.
Give me 1 second, Gary. James, you want to answer Mega over down there in New Zealand?
Go ahead.
Oh, geez. Well, I try to get rid of it as soon as I can, but a lot of it recently has been local subscribers or local small engine people that send me their stuff.
Yep.
And then I can send it right back to them. I don't have to worry about selling it or storing it.
But how about donations, though? All the donations you received, though.
Yeah, I mean, most of those get sold. I mean, like that Cub Cadet that I just did.
Yeah.
That one's actually in storage because it's the wrong season to sell it. But come springtime, I actually have 2 tractors in storage. I have to get rid of.
Yeah, do you have any with baggers? No, usually baggers you can get rid of now because of leaf season.
Yeah, my John Deere, my LT 155 has a bagger, and I've been kind of going back and forth whether I want to keep the Deere or the Cub Cadet.
I'd rather.
The Deere has some issues too.
Did it? Yeah, but I think the Deere's a little better quality. I don't know.
The LT series is junk.
It is junk, but they're consistent though. I mean, I've run one.
Yeah, I mean, it has a decent
the other
engine on it, but it's been getting louder and louder and louder, and I've been trying to figure it out. Like, is it the
change the tappets? Change the tappets.
It's the hydraulic.
No, it's hydraulic.
I know you change the lifters.
The lifters.
You
have to be running 10W30 with the ones with
but the lifters over time will start to go clack, 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 clack. You change the lifters, dead quiet. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out because it's.
There's a video on that. I'll send it to you. Craig Arndt, a guy out of, I think it's Pennsylvania or Illinois. He had the same thing where it was clack, 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 clack. He changed the lifter, whisper quiet.
Okay.
I'll send you the video. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I had that one where I changed that on my Kohler Command because I was getting the same problem.
Oh, yeah. It's just because of the lifters, the pump up on the lifters. They get old and they don't pump up.
They don't pump up. Exactly. So then when you get them, I wound up, it's not a good picture of them, but basically I was getting some wear and tear on them.
Yeah. But they'll collapse. They won't pump up.
Pump up. Yeah.
Yep.
And then also too, this is also especially on those, the new ones have a solid, I don't know if you see this.
Oh yeah. The end of the push rod.
The end of the old one had
a hollow
push rod. The new ones are solid.
Yeah.
And this new ones don't have.
Why did it have a hollow one? Was it
because the
oil?
Because the oil pumps up into
like a small block Chevy. It would feed oil.
Right, but why does the new one not have it?
The new ones bleed out through the side of the lifter through the oil galley.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they figure that there's enough of a splash going up to the valve train for it to do that. But the other side effect is that, and again, I don't know how. Oh, when in doubt, I have this.
You have so many pictures, right, ready to go.
I do.
It would take me like 10 minutes to find the pictures.
That's a bad hydraulic tappet.
All right. Next spring, when I start up my Deere, I'm sending you the sounds. I don't know if it is.
Well, it sounds like that. I've been able to break them loose. If they don't pump up, put a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil, and you're going to have to do an oil change after because it does dilute the oil. But it's got.
I sent you the link, James.
Thanks, Marvel Mystery Oil. It's an old guy's trick to be able to do that, and it's worked a couple times.
I got I've been staring at this thing the whole time we're talking. I need to fix it. Ken, what would you do with this?
McCulloch. Which one is it? Either Beaver?
The 120, I think.
What is it?
120?
Yeah, no, good saw. 120 is a good saw. Yeah, no, there is.
There's a lot of guys that'll actually collect those.
Well,
Like
let me
you
ask
said-
you this.
Yeah.
I got a crank seal kit for it. I haven't pressure tested it, but it's acting like it's leaking.
Yep.
Did I get the wrong seals? These are the tiniest seals
No, they're small. They're small.
I have ever seen. How are you supposed to get the old one out? Just a pick?
Oh, it's fun. Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can pick them. Yep. Because that's the one. The cylinder's horizontal, right? Goes front to back on those with the muffler.
Yeah. Yep.
So didn't you work on one of those a while back, like an Eager Beaver?
Yeah, the Eager Beaver, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah, same thing for the most part. Really tiny, but I tell you, 120 is a decent saw. It really is. Now, is that a plastic or metal body?
Metal.
Yeah, so
it looks brand new. I mean, it's amazingly well kept.
Yeah, the reason people don't work on them is because of the labor to work on them. Usually negates fixing them.
To get the engine back in the case to test it to see if it's fixed.
Completely disassemble the saw.
Takes me way too long, and I get it back in, and I'm like, nope, it just won't idle right. And I'm like, it has to be the crank. It doesn't have to be the crank seal. It could be leaking.
But definitely do the pressure vac test just in case, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to. I haven't taken it back apart yet. I feel kind of bad because it's been sitting here a while. I didn't make a video on it. I
have 7 saws right now that have been sitting for like 4 to 6 months here. People are waiting for seals.
That's what I don't understand with you guys. You guys get these little the weed whackers, the chainsaws. They sit for so long, and
little stuff I'll do real quick, or I'll say no. Like a decent steel Husqvarna saw things. I've got stuff that's good quality stuff. It's right. Oh, I don't need it right now. Don't say that to me.
Yeah, don't say that.
You never say that to any small engine person, right?
No, because it's guaranteed never to come back.
But at the end of the day, I mean, if these things are sitting, they're not making you money. See, I only work on. I tell people I only work on steel or Echo because I know I can get parts for them, and if I could turn them around fairly quickly. But if it's blown up and it's going to cost them almost more than 2/3 of the cost of a new unit, why bother?
Yeah,
this is a dollars and cents. This is a business. I mean, unless you want to do a pet project like James and I'll work on a generator even if it's like completely far gone. If I had taken that generator that you had at that time, Ken, I probably would have wasted money and fixed it and got it put back together. Would I have been able to sell it? No, it would have been sitting with the other 2 generators sitting in my garage that haven't moved in a year. But that's
most of the stuff I'll do.
Pet projects, that stuff.
Yeah, good quality stuff. But the cheap shit, the only stuff I'll do cheap, like the cheap pull-on saws, where all you're doing is the fuel line cracks. So you know you got to clean the carb out or put a new carb.
I won't even do that.
Those aren't bad.
See, no, I won't.
I'll charge $45, and it'll cost me $5 in parts.
Those aren't bad, but it's when you start getting into a cheap saw, like when.
Well, look at the one that you did, James, where we talked about the impulse line. That was a lot of time on that saw.
But that's
way too much time.
You could lose all that time.
But it's the same thing. Like something like this, you could never pay a shop to fix because just to take the engine out and put it back in, that's probably $50 right there.
But James, with you in your situation, you can make money off the video and pay for it. Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And this guy, like I said, I'm not making a video on this one, but I have made videos on some of his stuff. Yeah. And it's paid for this repair. I just need to do it.
And see, you have the ability to do that. I mean, if YouTube aside, without any ad revenue, just from a shop perspective, it's absolute a complete loss.
I agree.
It's a complete loss, and and
people hate when you say no. I don't want to touch it.
No, I really don't care if people get mad. I've told people, if it's a push mower or anything, I'm out 2 weeks. If it's a riding mower or anything like that, I'm out till like November 18th. And people are like, well, I want it. I need to get it done this week. I've had people randomly show up and I'm like, if you don't respect my schedule, then I'm not going to respect yours. Simple as that. But little stuff like that, you guys are holding on to for 6 months. If it's a pet project you want to do, great. But is it going to make you money? If it's sat that long, it's wasting space. It's wasting money. It's a loss. I mean, it's just, I can't justify it. I just can't. No is the answer. Exactly. Go and pound sand. Guys, I got a jet, but been a really fun discussion here. But we'll have to do it again. I'll see if I can tune in tomorrow for, I don't know if is it you or is it Stella?
I don't know someone's got to go on. Someone has to because we always do. But someone will be on. I mean, it may be me. Who knows? But usually 2:00 Eastern time. So whoever's around. But good luck to your family, James. Hopefully it all works out.
Hopefully they get home safe there.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, they have a flight scheduled for tomorrow, so
that's good.
they just got to make it 24 hours.
All right. That'll be it. Let's end it. I'll cut it here. Let me hit the end stream. Thanks to everybody in the chat for showing up.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you guys soon.